The Hunter Call of the Wild, to me, is a game for relaxing and exploring the beautiful natural environments of the game, as well as just the hunting. So today I'm going to take you into some real environments that kind of match the environments in Call of the Wild. And we're not going to do any hunting, this is just purely a bit of real exploration in similar environments to Hirschfelden and Layton Lake. And just like in Hirschfelden, where you can explore castle ruins, we're going to go and explore some castle ruins, and you can explore caves, so we're going to go and explore some interesting caves on a cliff, and then some hidden caves that are out hidden in the forest. So that's going to be our little adventure today. We're going to go and explore Call of the Wild, but in real life. Okay, let's go check this place out. This is one of the turrets for the castle, and when you stand on top of it, you can see the whole castle and the whole landscape. So let's check out the castle first. How cool was that? Very Hirschfelden-y. And if we go over here, you can see the landscape. It's a bit dark on this camera. Oh, there we go. And over here, you can see the ocean. So for those of you who are wondering what country we're in Wales in the UK, and you may think, if you're not from Britain, that I have an English accent, but it's actually a North Wales accent, and you probably can't tell the difference, which is fine, that happens all the time. But we're about 45 minutes away from Snowdonia, which is obviously home to Mount Snowdon. I can hear some animals in the bushes there. And I'm going to show you this really cool part of the castle that's all hidden. You can actually see some of the wall up there. But this bit's just awesome. And I'm kind of making this video for people who are fans of Call of the Wild and want to see what some of these places look like in real life, because let's face it, not everybody lives in the countryside. Not everybody lives near castles, so I thought it'd be cool for you guys. And I'm also making it for just people who find these kind of places interesting. And it's just a bit of a change to have something different on my channel. So check this out. I love this place. Very cool. So if you're a fan of what's it called, Uncharted series, and you've played Uncharted 4, if you've played the bit at the beginning when you're in the prison and you have to go up to that tower and retrieve that thing that was hidden by a pirate many years ago, you will recognise what I'm about to show you, which is this turret here. If we look up, how much does that remind you of Uncharted 4? Let's check this out. I love places like this. It's like Uncharted in real life in the castle, and then when you get out into the forest, it's just like Call of the Wild. So I don't know if you can see that up there, but that's an adit to an old lead mine. And we're not going to go in there, I've been in there before. But we will be going to some cool caves later. And this place that I'm about to show you is by far one of my favourite views, but mostly, although it'll look nice today, you should see it when it's snowing. And I'll see if I can get some footage of that I recorded earlier in the year. But look how beautiful this place is now. It's pretty freaking amazing. Call of the Wild is beautiful, but not as amazing as this. And as we come over to this bit, I'm going to transition into winter. How cool is that? So this is a really cool place as well. Very off the beaten track and kind of hidden. And this is just some of the more sort of ruined areas of the castle. And it looks amazing in summer, it's just all overgrown. You can't see any of this. Got a bunch of cow's tongues, as they call them there, bird's nest ferns. Check that out, and you can actually see all these holes. And some of them, not all of them, are for the beams that used to hold the floors up. And you can see a lindel there. And if we go into this room, there you go, you can see holes there, and across there where the beams used to hold up the floor. And if we go through here, it's literally just a drop. If you just walked off that, you'd be falling quite far. I wonder if this used to connect somehow over to there at some point, but if you look at it, it's just a big drop. So yeah, this castle is actually a folly. It's over 200 years old rather than hundreds and hundreds of years old. Still pretty amazing though. And we're going to go see some more stuff that's a lot more off the beaten track in a minute. See that cave up there? That's where we're heading next. So, we made it up here. The cave's over there. A couple of little tiny grotto things there. And I've just come from down there, which believe me is a lot more vertical than it looks. And the thing they don't tell you when you're jumping around in video games is wear good footwear. I wore the wrong shoes today for this and I slipped so much down there. It was really freaking dangerous. So yeah, let's go check out these caves. You can see a little cave there. We go up close to it, look inside. This used to be where water flowed out of the mountain millions of years ago. So here we are. We made it to the caves, and in a moment I'll put my climbing helmet on and my torch and we'll go and explore. You can see where the water used to jump out of blowholes where the shore would have been above us millions of years ago. So, got my helmet and the lamp. We'll pop that on. First thing you'll notice is up there must be a bunch of birds roosting, nesting, whatever you want to call them. And if you look down here, all this rock has collapsed further down and then been washed by the water all the way out to sea. And just think about that, those rocks were washed down here millions of years ago and they're still here, still haven't been moved. How crazy is that? You can see there's a bit of a cave going off in this direction. People have clearly been here and used it. And if we look at the back, God, this is low. If you look at the back, you can see that hole. That means that the water would have run out through here, and this is just filled up with silt over time. And all that is silt. You can see the crack where the wall carries on behind it. And you can see the cave entrance. It's huge, by the way. Absolutely huge. You can see the water's come out through there when the cave was smaller. And looking above us, see that rock? It's just pivoting there. That's probably been there for millions of years. And that rock there as well. Okay, I'm gonna adjust my light and then we'll go and explore in there. So, an interesting bit of trivia about the caves in this area. In the Victorian times, people wouldn't actually go in them because of, oh God, there goes my foot. Wouldn't go in them because apparently there was a devil that lived in these caves, and apparently they had an exorcism to get rid of the devil. And then when the devil was exorcised, you know, he rode in his little treadmill, you know what I mean, and when he was exorcised out of here, people started to flock around to explore the caves. And then, so the legend goes, there were some collapses and they filled the caves up with the silt that was in them, so that they were basically plugged and you couldn't go in them. And this is one of the few caves that isn't plugged, and you can't really get a sense of scale, but it's actually really, really big. And you can see there's loads of holes where water would have rushed in through there, down into here and out there. So anyway, these caves were plugged up, and not long ago I met with some guys from a local caving club, and we found the other side of the plugs, which is where I'm going to show you next. So it brings a lot of life to this legend that may or may not be true, that this isn't natural silt. Well, it is, but it's not naturally plugged these caves up. It's been plugged up by the Victorians to stop people from being in danger. So we'll go check them out next. I'm just going to have a look up there. You can see where the original cave comes from, and it goes further back. So I've just come from in there into this cave, and you can see this white stuff, like minerals or something, sorry, all over the walls. And this cave goes way up into there, way up. That's really high, that's like 40 feet. And that's where the water would have trickled down all the way into here. And I'm standing up, and I'm 6'4", and this cave goes way high. And that's where I just was. And then you can see, you know, it kind of carves the landscape, as it were. These big fissures. It's awesome. I had to use my tool to climb up here, so you can imagine if this was Call of the Wild, how awesome would that be in the game, to use something like this to climb up into caves and stuff, because I know there is caves in the game. That's why I wanted to show you this. I can't really see around that corner, but oh, it goes right up there. Again, massive tunnel. Someone's drawn that, whatever that is. And there's actually a cave shelf, which you can imagine if you lived in this cave, you could put torches and candles and stuff on there. But I think it's time to go and explore the other side of this cave before we move on to the really interesting hidden cave with all the bats. So, I've got my backpack, I'm heading out, and this bunch of birds flew from down there to over there. I can hear them around. There's definitely some spooky noises around here for some reason. Must be some other things living in here. So let's go and check out this bit over here. Sorry if the camera's a bit shaky, I'm just using my phone, and one hand has this in, I've got a backpack on, it's not the easiest thing. I'll try and keep it steady. Okay, now this one's interesting because this is less wet in here, so you can actually walk around, and people have put some graffiti in there in 1994. I remember that being a seriously hot summer and Power Rangers and Pogs being all the rage. If anyone's in their 30s, they'll remember that. Check that out. It's just a honeycomb. What's weird is that almost looks artificial, even though it's real. You can tell it's all carved by water because it's smooth. But yeah, this place is pretty cool. Unfortunately, I think it's all sort of, yeah, it all sort of comes to an end here, and you can just see that hole there, and then up there. And what I think it is this actually, I'll show you a bat in a minute. I've just seen this, I think, up there connects with where that cavern we just went into. But look, there's a little bat there. I'll see if I can get a close up. So I've had to turn my torchlight down because I don't want to disturb the bat. But you can see it just there, hibernating. And over here, you can see some more wildlife. But how cool is that? And there's a few bats in here, but I'm going to leave them alone. I don't want to disturb them. What's weird, just as a weird extra, I can see a vertebrae from an animal bone there. That's kind of creepy. I mean, what the hell is it doing? What the hell is it doing up here? In this cave? On a little shelf? Who knows? History and nature are fascinating things. Let's move on to the next place. So, I just slipped. I knew I would. Hurt my leg there, and I hurt my elbow, and I tried to use this to stop when I fell. Stupidly, all this patch here, it would have been fine, and I hit the bloody rock, so it slipped off the rock, and I nearly slipped down there. Again, it's a lot steeper than it looks. And what I wanted to do was tie a rope around that tree and then slow my descent, and I thought, no, I'll use that, I'll be fine, it's not that steep. But god damn, it's slippy, so yeah, I'm injured now, but soldier on. So remember when I told you about those caves that were plugged up by the Victorians, and they were exorcised for demons and stuff like that? These are the well-known sort of public entrances to these caves that are all plugged up. And then on the other side of the mountain there's hidden caves that no one knows about. So you can see how the water's carved the way through the actual cave here. And in the Victorian times they would come and explore these caves, apparently, according to this article I found from about 100 years ago in the local newspaper. And let's focus a bit, there we go. And then apparently they used all this silt that's on the ground, and there's tons and tons of this silt. So you can see the silt goes right to the back wall, and then beyond the silt, just sort of around that corner, that's where the cave system continues on all the way through the mountain. Caves don't just appear and then kind of stop, you know, right there. They go all the way through because the water's gone through. And what I wanted to show you was, you can see that there's a little cave dwelling spider there. I'll try and focus in. There you go. And then there's some moths and things. And weirdly, there's a snail shell over there. Probably can't see it. It's really tiny. So let's go check out the other cave. Oh, hang on. Let's see what it looks like from this side. It's pretty cool. You can see where the water has gone underneath there when the water levels were lower and cut into the sides. Let's go check out the other one. Check this out. This is all formed by water, by the ocean crashing against the shore, which would have been here, and created this bluff. And then if we go up in here, you've got the next cave, which again has been silted up right to the ceiling. So let's quickly check that out. I mean, that's high. That's like 20 odd feet. And it's silted right to the top there. And that's pretty much vertical, but you can't really see it. And it's weird because it kind of domes and comes to a smaller opening rather than it being smaller at the back, it's smaller at the front. And then there's offshoots like in the other big cave we went to. But let's go and explore something a little more hidden in the forest. So on our way to our final destination, not the movie, no pun intended, I wanted to show you guys this awesome little tower that's probably about a mile or two away from the castle. You can't even see the castle. It's too far away. Check this fireplace out. What I find really interesting about this fireplace is this, where something has been put in the mortar there and scraped out, taken out. And what's interesting is, I know in the Civil War they used to hide things in America, like in between the mortar, like little tins with stuff in. So it does make me wonder if something was hidden in there at some point. So one of my favourite parts of Call of the Wild is the pine forests in Layton Lake, and I think these pine trees are Corsican pine trees, and they're the same ones that they have in medved-taiga actually. But what's interesting is the diversity of the landscape here, because it goes from being very European to this kind of pine needle full forests. And you know, that was always my favourite part of Call of the Wild, is pine forests and ferns and that kind of landscape. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of it in real life. I know it's a bit out of season, it's very brown, but it's still pine forest. Okay, so here we are in the middle of the forest in this little gully, and we're about to come up on the last part of our trip, a hidden cave in the middle of the forest. And there it is. Check that out. I think I can even hear the bats in there. Before we head in, I just want to give a quick shout out to Fooster. Fooster's channel is awesome, and his channel is basically what got me into playing Call of the Wild. So thank you very much, and hopefully you'll watch this video and think it's cool. So we're just in the entrance now. It's not very big, it's probably about, at the tallest part, 5 feet high. And you can see down into the cave there's some water there dripping. But what I wanted to show you was, trying to make this light not too bright, these. They're shells that have been fossilized in the limestone for millions of years. I just thought it's really cool. And then if you look over here, sorry, this is, you have to put up with a shaky camera for a second there. If you look over here, you can see all of the minerals and how they formed stuff like that. And then when we get inside, I'll show you some other cool stuff. So let's get in. It's very, very low to start with, and then it gets much better as we get inside. I'm going to get my little axe in case I can't get back out. See, it's weird how natural occurrences, like that's where we just came in, and you look down here and there's like a sandbar in between, but it's still actually the same entrance. It's just this sandbar's kind of in the middle. They never have like interesting stuff like that in video games, so Call of the Wild devs, if you're watching, maybe this is some inspiration for you. This cave goes on for a very long distance, by the way, and I forgot to bring my wellies, so I forgot how wet it is in here. I won't be able to go too far in. Oh god. But it's just such a cool cave. I thought it was worth having a good look. I don't know if you can see that black dot over there, but that's a bat. You can see how the water is forming all the minerals. It's just pushing them down into little lumps, and then the water drops into there. Check this out. This is a spider's nest. It's just like an egg sac with loads of spiders. How crazy is that? And there seems to be loads of moths as well as loads of bats in here. I don't know why, but as you go further on into the cave, and I'm sorry I can't take you all the way down, I don't have the right equipment today, it goes really, really far, and then there's a big sandbar, which is the other side of that plug we were talking about from the Victorian times. But like I said, this is way too wet. That's about 5-6 inches deep, and I've only got some boots on. I can't believe I forgot to bring my wellies today. Insane. So apologies. There is loads of bats in here. Oh, that's cool. There you can see that. It's like a big nubbin of minerals, and there's a big spider there. Oh god, there's a massive spider there. You can probably see it. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. This was Call of the Wild in real life.